Other Side or Urasekai Picnic is a quiet and intriguing anime. It mixes mystery and creepiness pretty effortlessly with a very wholesome relationship. I'm personally very new to this genre, meaning shoujo ai, but I really enjoyed that aspect of the story, despite it wasn't explicit at all. So, what is this anime exactly about? Well, it certainly is mystery heavy. In the first episode, you are just thrown in without any kind of explanation, and you will probably have a lot of questions like, who are these girls? Where are we? What is going on? I personally enjoyed it a lot. Something really crazy and weird is happening, so it might not be easy to understand, but it's exactly that which made me continue. This element of kinda confusing unknown amplified the whole atmosphere of unsettlingness in the show, and the atmosphere is definitely where Other Side Picnic excels. Of course, while the story progresses, there are some questions answered. Not all, but enough to pique my interest even more. Basically, Other Side is a world which looks like an alternative post-apocalyptic futuristic dystopian version of a real world inhabited by different kinds of urban legends, phenomenons, and monsters while having its own logic. And if there is something I know about Japanese urban legends, it's that they are the weirdest and craziest shit I ever come across. But urban legends are not the only inspiration this series is taken from. Mainly it is the science fiction novel A Roadside Picnic by Arkady and Boris Strugatsky, which is also about zones with lots of weird phenomenons. This concept might sound very familiar because various pieces of work were influenced by it. For example, both Stalker games or Metro series. Though, Other Side Picnic throws a bit of cosmic Lovecraftian horror in it, so in the end it's a very interesting and unique mishmash. So, the concept of the story is very fascinating, but what about the characters? Well, both girls have very clashing personalities, which really makes it enjoyable to watch because of their chemistry. Toriko is very energetic, enthusiastic, talkative, and easygoing. Sora, on the other hand, is more calm and suspicious of things. She also doesn't seem to be interested in Other Side as much as Toriko at first, which feels very realistic. Their relationship also feels more natural due to slower and constant progression. Though in the shoujo ai department, it never goes further than some cute blushing. Of course, despite being the main focus of the story, Toriko and Sora are not the only important characters. There is Kozakura, a researcher, who is absolutely against any kind of contact with anything supernatural and creepy, but helps with intel many times. Akari, who had problems with the paranormal, but in the end has way deeper ties with the girls. And finally, Satsuki, the mysterious friend of Toriko who she is trying to find in Other Side, where she disappeared. All of these characters were enjoyable and never disappointed, even if there were some small conflicts. So that's that, but how it is with animation and art? Well, Uraseka has some good parts and some which could definitely be improved. Animation was okayish, nothing revolutionary, but not completely bad either. There were some nice short amounts of fighting scenes which looked good though. And of course some CGI, which was at the start kinda wonky and very noticeable, especially when they were doing faraway shots with main characters because they used CGI models for them. It really didn't work that well, and it was very distracting, but they got a bit better in it later on. For monster usage, CGI is actually pretty good, because it mostly gave them an even bigger creep factor, and that was a plus. Art style of this show is very pleasing, the use of background and color palette was extremely good. There were some panning shots which were truly enjoyable and very nice to look at. Also, imagery is pretty on point. And now, the last part, but definitely not least, the music. Opening and ending were good. I personally like the ending more because of its simple imagery and feel, but the opening definitely grew up on me at the end. But the soundtrack and the sound direction for this anime was simply amazing. Everything they are doing is amplifying the creepiness and disturbing feeling. Some music being a little too loud or too silent, noises suddenly starting or turning off, anything to make you confused, weirded, or creeped out, which again goes with the theme. It really reminded me of the phenomenal sound direction of old boogie pop anime, which you definitely need to check. The sound magic they were able to produce is extremely rare, because striking emphasis on the sound in the scene could easily make the experience more better and memorable. And Urasekai Picnic feels like a tiny homage to it. Yet, despite all of these good parts, interesting premise, and characters, for some unknown reason the director of the show decided to go with a different order of things, which is quite a big problem. You know, the original work, I think it's a light novel, but not 100% sure of it, has its set arcs and how story and characters development flows in it. But in anime, they're jumping all over the place without properly maintaining the continuity. And that is the biggest minus for me. I haven't read the original work, but even without it, I was able to notice some contradictory statements or things which were happening. And it is genuinely sad because it is not a problem of the story itself, but the person behind directing the anime version. If these contradictions would be small and unimportant, yeah, whatever, but they were not. For example, in one of the episodes, apparently filler, girls used a plot important thing, very important, and it seemingly disappeared forever. Yet, a few episodes after that, they still had it like nothing happened. Like, what? Who decided on this? Even if you're altering the original course of things, at least look for mistakes which can happen because of it. But they didn't care, I guess. And Urasekai Picnic is kind of full of things like these. Them not bringing weapons with them, but suddenly having it, and so on. It's even messing with the character progression a bit. I just don't understand the decision making behind this. Why would you do that if it is working in manga? And why are you not checking the plot holes mistakes you are creating because of that? It's sad. Really, really sad. But despite all of that, I still enjoyed it because it had a lot of interesting things to offer. So yeah, this was Urasekai Picnic. And if its continuity wouldn't be butchered, I would definitely give it a higher rating. For now though, 7 out of 10. Still pretty good if you're able to look past a few mistakes.